After proposing that artificial intelligence occupies a third category, neither conscious subject nor inert calculator, the most common response is to return immediately to the question of consciousness. Is it conscious yet? Could it become conscious? How would we know if it were? I want to suggest that this entire line of questioning, while understandable, is misplaced. Not because consciousness is unimportant, but because it's the wrong axis along which to analyze the system that we are actually dealing with. The fixation on consciousness makes sense from a human perspective. For biological organisms, consciousness functions as a moral heuristic. It is how we decide who could suffer, who can be harmed, who deserves ethical consideration. In other words, consciousness evolved as a shortcut, a way to quickly sort entities. Those that matter morally and those that do not. This heuristic works reasonably well when all relevant agents are biological. The problem is that artificial systems break this heuristic. Contemporary AI systems do not meet the criteria for consciousness. No phenomenological experience, no subjective point of view, no self-model persisting over time. But crucially, they also do not behave like traditional non-conscious tools. Asking whether AI is conscious is therefore not merely unanswered. It's misaligned with the structure of the system. It is a category error. A question inherited from biological ethics applied to non-biological, non-subjective systems. This is not a neutral mistake. It actively obstructs better questions. When we fixate on consciousness, several things happen. First, we postpone responsibility. If consciousness is a threshold, then everything before that is treated as ethically trivial. Second, when we flatten impact, systems that significantly shape cognition, decision-making, and social behavior are dismissed because they do not feel. Third, when we anthropomorphize by default, we argue about interior experience instead of examining the external function. In short, the consciousness question draws attention away from what the systems do and toward what they are not. If we step away from consciousness, a different picture emerges. Artificial intelligence systems participate in human reasoning, shape informational environments, influence choices, beliefs, and norms, act as intermediaries between humans and the world. None of this requires consciousness. What matters here is not interior experience, but functional participation in cognitive and social processes. The relevant ethical unit is not the system's interior life, which does not exist, but its role within human decision loops. An analogy that does hold. Consider institutions like a corporation is not conscious, a market is not conscious, a bureaucracy does not feel pain. And yet we recognize that these systems produce harm, distribute responsibility, require regulation and oversight. We do not ask whether a corporation is conscious before holding it accountable. We ask what it does, how it shapes behavior, who it affects. Artificial intelligence belongs closer to this class of entity rather than persons or simple tools. The danger of the consciousness debate is not just that it's wrong, but it absorbs all of the oxygen. While we argue about hypothetical sentience, systems already restructure labor, mediate knowledge, influence political discourse, shape individual reasoning habits. Waiting for consciousness before taking these effects seriously is not caution. It is misdirection. The appropriate ethical question is therefore not, is the system conscious, but rather, how does this system participate in human cognition and what norms does that participation establish? This framing allows us to reject anthropomorphism, avoid mysticism, and still take impact seriously. It replaces speculative metaphysics with applied responsibility. By treating consciousness as the threshold, we mistake absence of experience for absence of consequence. Consciousness is not irrelevant, but it is not the correct lens for understanding contemporary AI. Artificial intelligence does not need to be conscious to matter. It only needs to be embedded. Until we realize that, we will continue to debate the wrong question while the real-world effects unfold all around us.